stay around folks that think like me. And then sometimes you gotta understand that you gotta be where you get strength. See, you gotta learn how to denounce everything that pulls you down. You got to get away from some folks that want to destroy you. You can't take advice from folks on the same level you are. You got to learn to reach a little higher. I'm ready to God myself. Watch this. The only way the enemy, sit down, y'all, sit down. You got to understand that the enemy really wants to paralyze you. Y'all ain't got it. When I read this about the paralytic man, that he was paralyzed. Watch this now. He was paralyzed. And you got to understand that it wasn't an exterior, even though he couldn't move on the outside. But the reason why he couldn't move on the outside is because there was an inward effect. Y'all missed it. It wasn't an outward that determined who he was. It was what happened to him mentally inside his body that was perfected, that was shown outside, that you can see. Touch somebody and tell them, you got to learn that you got to overcome what's on the inside. Because what's on the inside will affect your outside. You got to understand that the enemy cannot paralyze you from the outside. He has to first paralyze you mentally in order to stop you physically. Tell somebody, I refuse to be paralyzed. The enemy wants to paralyze you, and he wants to stun you, and he wants you to stay in a place that should have been rest. But understand this, that not only that, the man was laying on the cot. Touch somebody and tell somebody, just push him, and tell him you got to make sure you're connected with somebody that is looking out for you more than themselves. Y'all ain't got it. Because it's going to take somebody else. Because there are times that we get in places that we can't move ourselves. But it's who you're connected to that is able to get you out of what you're in and move you to another place. When I saw this, the Bible said, if it ain't nothing but 4, but 5. But when it got 5, the Bible says that he was laying there. Y'all got to see this. The enemy want to lock you where you are so you can't move forward. But you got to make sure that you're connected to somebody that's not thinking about themselves. Y'all missed it. When Jesus came, he wasn't thinking about him. He was thinking about you. Even though you weren't in existence. You got to, I'm getting ahead of myself. Watch this. And as he was laying there, the Bible said, and the 4 came in. And the decision that they made. Now watch this. You got to see this in your mind. You got to be with somebody that's not always thinking about themselves. You got to be somebody that understands that if I'm going to come out, you're going to come out. Y'all listening. And what you got to do is understand that sometimes you got to go through something for somebody else to bring them the deliverance at the same time while you bring yourself deliverance. Turn somebody and tell them, stay in the pack. Because the only thing that's going to protect you in the pack is that the enemy get confused in the midst of the pack because he really don't know who the weakest is because everybody's running together. Y'all listen. Touch somebody and tell them, let's run together on this one. And then the enemy don't know who to go after because he has so many he can't figure out who can I attack. Who is the weakest? The Bible says that the weak say I'm strong. In other words, as long as I stay in the pack, y'all, give me some brothers. Come here, let me fall back. Come on up. Y'all are right on time. So now you got to understand. The Bible says that him that is strong is to restore to the weakest one. I want y'all to get around me, circle me. Come on, Glenn. Circle me, stay in the front. See, as long as the weak one know that he's weak, but he feels encouraged to run, as long as everybody else running. Y'all ain't got it. You ain't gonna leave me out because I know if I stay with you, he can't figure out if I'm weak or not. But see, now what confuses him, as long as I run with him, he can't figure. I might know I'm the weakest, but I got to stay in the huddle. Tell somebody stay in the huddle. It's the huddle that's going to give you the plan to get out. And when I run with the group, they're going to encourage me to keep running. I might fall a little bit back, but because I'm surrounded by so great a cloud of witnesses that I can grab hold of the next, even though I'm not in the front anymore. And they're going to carry me until the enemy has the soul. this. And as I was reading, the Bible said that the four grabbed the one. Watch this. They picked him up. Watch this. Wait. Watch this. Let's do this. You got to understand, and I'm almost finished, and I got to come back and finish this. You got to understand that to come out of a crisis, you got to learn how to come together in the midst of a crisis. Yes. I'm telling you, the enemy is so cunning. Yes. He makes you think that you got to stay away from the church. He makes you think you got to stay away from the presence of God to get strength. How can you stay away from strength to get strength in a place that has no strength? Woo! See, you got to learn how to stay out of a place that's pulling your strength and get in a place that's giving you strength. And see, we got to learn how to draw from one another. Y'all excuse me.
That's all right.
My objective, if I find out that somebody is weak with me, I'm going to put them along. See, you got to understand the process of getting through issues. When crisis, the thing about crisis, you'll find out who's hanging with you. You'll find out who's with you in the midst of crisis. You'll find out who really has been praying for you. You'll find out who really going to stick with it. You let something hit you hard enough and watch who runs to you. See, you got to understand, you can't hang with folks that want something out of you. You got some people that hang with you because of who you are. I'm going to sit by Kiki because I know she got some perspective is what I want. But she can't give me what I want. See, I'm subject to leave you because I done got out of you all that I need. But you got to watch who you connected with. Make sure they ain't hooking with you to get what's out of you. Because you're going to need them when the time gets rough. Touch somebody and tell them, testify your way out of it. Don't ever put your hand or your life in the midst of a weak person. Because you'll get more bruises and bumps along the way. Because they keep letting you, and you keep bumping. And you might say, I might as well get up and walk if they're going to drop me these many times. But you need somebody that's going to be strong. And the Bible said the fool picked up the one. And once said they didn't know how they were going to get to where he was. But they knew he was in the house. They decided that I can't wait till he comes. I can't wait till he come to me. Because right now I'm in a desperate need. So you got to learn that they picked him up. And they carried him. I don't know what kind of terrain they went over. I don't know how many mountains they went over. But they decided that we got to get him in the place of God. And you got to have somebody that want to take you in the face of God. You got to lay him down right there. I know y'all getting tired. Don't get up. See, your deliverance depends on what you do in the midst of crisis. If the enemy can get you to scatter, have you ever noticed that when they teach you how to overcome a terrorist attack, they said everybody get in one place? Because if you get by yourself, you become more scared. And you feel like you're alone. And they said get in one place. And he said when y'all are there, prepare, make a plan to attack what's trying to attack you. Touch somebody and tell them, don't just let what attacking you attack you. But make plans to attack what's attacking you. God, the Bible said that when he left, he took captivity captive. Now, when I looked at him being paralyzed, it was a state that the enemy wanted him so he couldn't move forward. It wasn't a physical, but it was a mental, which means there was something happened to his nervous system on the inside that affected his mobility on the outside. The enemy said, if I can paralyze your mind from the inside, it's going to affect you from the outside. It means it's going to show. But if you can convince yourself, and there are going to be times when you get where it looks like it's just you. That's why you got to connect with folks that want something better than just for them. And the Bible said, and they picked him up and they carried him. Stand over there. Watch this. Help him up, young. Grab him, don't drop him. And it says they carried him. Watch this. And it says, and when they got to where he was, set him down. The Bible said that he was compassed with so great a cloud that they couldn't get in. Sometimes the enemy put a lot of stuff in front of you, even though God is just over the crowd, to prevent you from getting in. Notice this now. They figured out that there's no way of us getting in from the level that we're on. Touch somebody and tell him, somebody have to have the sense enough to look up. They missed it. They all missed it. I can't get in on my level because there's too much going on. Somebody said, I will look unto the hills, from which cometh my help. See, when you don't have the answer on your level, you got to have someone by which when you can't look up, they're going to look up for you. You got to have somebody that's carrying you, that understand that you got to seize the moment. Jacob wrestled with God. Why? Because he seized the moment. You got to understand that there was going to time you got to grab God and not let him go. Even when it's shaking, you got to hold on and tell him, I refuse to let. He said, daybreak is coming. But he said, I'm not going to release it until you bless me. You got to learn how to grab him and say, I'm not going to let you go until you bless me. Tell somebody's name needs to be changed. You try.